In another example of a teen having affluenza, you have a New York man who, at the time, was a teenager and is both wealthy and connected, has avoided prison time for rape. Here we go. So now the affluenza teen, if you can remember, not the same person as this person, but Ethan Couch was drunk and killed 4 people and was able to get away with it because, well, he's wealthy and he's connected and he's a member of an influential family. Now, in this case, Christopher Belter, who is now 20 years old, was sentenced to 8 years of probation after admitting in 2019 to third-degree rape, attempted first-degree sexual abuse, and 2 misdemeanor charges of second-degree sexual abuse. Now, according to New York law, first-degree sexual abuse and third-degree rape are both low-level felonies, class D and E, I believe, which I believe is punishable by at least 14 months to a year in prison. Now, the first charge involves sexual intercourse with the lack of consent due to factors like intoxication. The second charge applies in situations where there isn't penetrative sex, but where the perpetrator either uses force in things like oral sex, or the victim is physically helpless. Again, people who are possibly disabled or, of course, passed out. So this guy is basically had been preying on teenage girls that were around his own age, getting them drunk, getting them high, and then when they pass out, assaulting them. Jesus. So now it turns out that his family home was the local party house, which was encouraged by his 50-year-old mother, Tricia Vacanti, 56-year-old stepfather, Gary Sillo, and family friend, Jessica Long, 42, who allegedly supplied the teenage girls with alcohol and cannabis. Now, the state police are alleging that that the adults had groomed the girls for sexual assaults by Belter. So, and that seems about right. They go in and they say, "Oh, we got booze, we got everything, man. To have fun, party, let's have fun." And they do, and when they pass out, they let this predator take advantage. Disgusting. Disgusting. Now, all 3 of the adults had pleaded not guilty to misdemeanor charges of child endangerment and unlawfully dealing with a child. So now that's the details, right? Now, all that had to be detailed in court proceedings, which is hard enough as it is for survivors. But it wasn't just the details of the assault that had to be gone over and dissected in court that made one of the victims get literally physically ill. It was a sentence. According to Washington Post, Niagara County Court Judge Matthew Murphy III had concluded that after hearing everything, that jail time would be quote unquote inappropriate. Oh, you don't say. Here's a quote. He said, "I'm not ashamed to say that I actually prayed over what is the appropriate sentence in this case, because there was great pain. There was great harm. There were multiple crimes committed in this case." Okay, but you're the judge. You're supposed to decide the sentence, not Jesus. And why are you praying? The guy, I'll tell you who was praying. This man, he was praying on women. He was preying on girls, teen girls his own age. He's a predator. He's a sexual predator and was enabled by his parents and a family friend. This should be very, very easy. Super, super easy. You should lock him away before he hurts someone else. But no, 8 years of probation. That's it. That's all he gets. Along with, of course, let me give you the last part of the quote here. "It seems to me that a sentence that involves incarceration or partial incarceration is inappropriate, so I am going to sentence you to probation." And along with probation, Belter has to register as a sex offender as part of his sentence. Now, that, of course, led to one of the victims It was represented by Stephen Cohen. Now, this lawyer, Stephen Cohen, had objected to the sentence, rightly so, and noted to the court that my client just threw up in the ladies' room following the sentencing. If Chris Belter was not a white defendant from a rich and influential family, in my experience, he would surely have been sentenced to prison. Absolutely. If he were black, he'd be under the prison. And again, I wouldn't be opposed to putting a predator in jail. I'm not looking for like crazy sentences. I'm looking for an equal application of justice among all people. Here we see another example of a wealthy white connected teen who gets preferential treatment while there are people who are minorities, who are poor, who do not get equal treatment under the law, who get thrown in prison. And of course, a lot of it has to do with, I think most of it has to do with class, honestly. I mean, you know, this judge probably looks at this kid and says, well, there by the grace of God goes I. I could have been that kid. Oh, I could have got myself into trouble. I was a teenager once. No, it's not about being, again, this guy's a predator. He's a predator. Now, Belter's attorney, of course, said, oh, well, he is tremendously remorseful. Tremendously. And that, you know, he just feels so terrible about what he did. No, terrible about getting caught. That's what I think. Now, you might say, look, well, he's branded a sex offender. If you're a sex offender, well, I mean, that's a lot of stuff that's now in your way. It's on your record. People know. He has to, you know, people are going to know where he lives, and because there's notices everywhere, and there's a lot of restrictions. Well, again, these are restrictions that would harm someone who, you know, way more somebody who is poor than someone who is wealthy and connected. This is not going to harm him all that much, really. Rich people are going to be, he's going to be okay. And that's kind of the problem. Okay? If you think probation and a sex offender is going to stop a wealthy predator, think again. Think again. Now, Sarah Sheldon, the now retired judge who had accepted Belter's plea agreement 2 years ago, had placed the teen on 2 years of probation. You want to guess how that turned out? And that's relevant because, again, he was on probation before, now he's going to be on probation for another 8 years. That's it. That's it. She predicted that Belter would struggle to comply with the court-ordered restrictions of probation. And of course, what happened? She was absolutely right. One of the restrictions placed upon him was access to pornographic materials on his computer. Guess what? He admitted to the court that he installed software to get around it. Well, you just broke probation. That's, I mean, seriously. But yet, no, more probation. Sure, you broke probation. That's, you know what? That's fine. That's fine. Oh, you kids, you know how it is. You're gonna be okay. Disgusting. Now, there was one thing that Murphy did, and that he did refuse to allow Belter to apply for youthful offender status because when he had done this, he was actually, I think, 16. And so the case is a few years old. And so he was 15, 16, and I'm sorry, I think he was 16, 17, around that age, and had preyed on women who were, girls who were 16, and one who was 15. And so they're like, no, you get to be tried as an adult. Well, they didn't really do a whole lot. So Murphy did know that the now 20-year-old, who said he had been viewing porn since he was 7, recently had been treated with medication to lessen his libido. Oh, but that's not the point here, okay? So, look, the problem isn't people with high sexual libido. Okay. The people with a high sex drive, they're still able to control themselves. You know what I'm saying? And not purposely prey on girls, getting them drunk and then raping them. This guy's a predator. It's not about having a high sex drive. It's about, again, being enabled by your family to be a predator. And then your rich family and your connections then allow you to do whatever the hell you want. No, no, no. Again, you got to think about the victims here. Think about the victims. And I know there are going to be people who are like, oh, no, you understand, it's the girl's fault. They were drinking and they were partying. They brought it on themselves. No, not at all. Here's the thing. If you cannot consent, then it's rape. Drinking or getting high does not excuse rape. That is not the same as consent. Wearing short dresses or skimpy clothes does not excuse rape. Nothing excuses rape, period. End of story. End of sentence. But there is going to be the victim blamers, of course. Of course. But overall, here we go again. Another white, wealthy, powerful person, man, gets away with doing heinous crimes in victimizing women. Because, of course, it's affluenza all over again. Absolutely disgusting. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.